Hello and welcome to whatever we're calling this. It's a bunch of idiots talking about video games. Love it. Hello. I am Paul Despawn. I am joined by two lovely people here today. Firstly, it's Jimbo. How are you doing, sir?
Hello.
Hello.
Well, hello. I'm ready to talk video games for sure.
And the one and only Mr. Pratty Matty himself. How are you doing, Matt?
Very well, thank you.
You all
Thanks
excited
for
about
having me
video games? Oh no, I'm very excited for this.
So excited about video games.
For those who don't know you, let's start with you, Jimbo. What do you do on the internet, and why are we talking video games today?
So I am a content creator over on YouTube and also kind of on Twitter as well. I just kind of meme and get excited about video games. I mainly do guides, previews, news, that type of thing. And I kind of, the main ones, I have like a couple of home games that I kind of stick to, but I pretty much cover anything that I'm interested in. So if you've seen me making the rounds on the internet, most likely Destiny, maybe a bit of Diablo quite recently, and then just anything really that takes my fancy. So yeah, that's what I do. YouTube, basically on YouTube all the time. So, yeah.
Awesome. And you, Matt, what do you do on the internet, and why are you
content? Yeah, content creation mainly for video games. Especially started out as video games, and now it's progressed to everything really. Doing a bit of voice acting on the side as well. No video games yet, but it's an audiobook and a couple of adverts for radio. But yeah, content is my bag.
And for those who don't know me, I am Paul Despawn. I am a content creator. Recently moved all the way over to YouTube now. So doing a lot of videos on indie titles, lots of plays that excite me, previews, reviews, that kind of stuff, and stupid videos on the short form as well, the usual. But yeah, today we are gathered around this wonderful camera that is life to talk about the wonderful world of not E3. So obviously this year,
yay, not E3.
Yay. So yeah, obviously this year E3 was supposed to happen, then cancelled, and then was supposed to happen, and then cancelled again, and now it's completely gone for the year. So everyone got together and did their own little showcases, and we basically just wanted to talk about all those video games that got announced, all those big surprises, the big hits, some of the misses as well. And just, see what we're excited about for the years to come. So I guess the first thing to jump into is obviously the one that came first, which for me would be the PlayStation Showcase.
That was like, what, 2 weeks before?
Yeah, so they went in early.
Before it all started?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think theirs was on the 24th of May. It was a mixed bag for me, this one. There was some good announcements, but there was a lot of things that I was like, yeah, sure, fine, not for me. There's a market out there. What did you guys think of the PlayStation Showcase?
You want to go first, Nat? You can go first, Matt?
Yeah, sure. I mean, obviously, straight away, Spider-Man stood out to me. I've still not played the first Spider-Man properly. Played like some previews through, but yeah, that looked amazing, and I want to play that. And obviously, Metal Gear Solid remake, it's looking amazing. And I don't know, is it like from the ground up remake, or are they going for the original?
So I think it's going to be like what they did, or like what Resident Evil has done with their type games, because they've just released I think it was at the Switch event like 2 or 3 days ago, like yesterday I think it was. They released the generation is coming to like everything, so like Metal Gear 1 and 2 and also 3 are all coming to all the different consoles and stuff, so I think it's going to be like a ground up, but I think they're also taking some of the audio, like the voice acting from the previous games as well. So
from what I understand, if I remember correctly, we are getting a full ground-up remake of Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, which they are now calling Metal Gear Solid Delta. So it's basically the re-beginning of the story. Because obviously, for those who don't know, Metal Gear Solid 3 is the start of the story for Solid Snake.
Oh,
so obviously it was a prequel originally, but now it's going to be like it is the start of the story. But they also announced at the PlayStation conference that we are also getting that trilogy as well. So the original trilogy will be as it is. I think the version that you can currently play on PlayStation, Xbox as we speak. So those versions of the game, and then the remake version will be the ones with the original voice actors as well, the ground up. Yeah.
So are they gonna do 1 and 2 as they're doing 3, or they're kind of doing Delta and then they're doing the other ones?
They've not said so, but I'm assuming that if Delta does as well as it's gonna do, because we all know it's gonna do well, that it is. They will look at doing the others as well, because I think that's why they've started with 3, because it is the beginning of the story.
Yeah.
So yeah, so hopefully we can get more. I'm very excited. Like, I know there's obviously a double-edged sword to this. We know we know that Kojima's not working on it in any capacity. Obviously, they had a very public falling out with Konami. So yeah, but I'm hoping that they will at least honor what came before. And treat it with the respect it deserves. But we shall wait and see on that one. But I am very excited for this one. Like I say, Metal Gear is my jam, they say.
Was there anything else, Matt, that interested you particularly?
I mean, Marathon's coming out as well. That was announced during PlayStation, wasn't it?
Yeah.
By through Bungie. So is it going to be a mix of Halo and some of their other bits as well?
So this is my area of expertise, seeing that I've covered Bungie quite a lot. So basically, as far as I know, there was a report from Insider Gaming, which is like the Tom Henderson thing on Twitter, basically talking about a lot of the game. To boil it down, it's a PvP extraction shooter, but it's going to be on the Tiger engine, because Bungie at the moment, so Destiny is on the Tiger engine, which is there was the original Halo engine, and then they basically like retrofitted or like updated it, and then they made their own for Destiny, which is the Tiger engine, and they're putting aspects of that into the Tiger engine. Like from like they're using Blender as well to like transport, because you look at some of like the Vidoc things that they showed off, you can see a very clear blurred out like Blender icon. So that's how they're transferring stuff over. But we know that it's going to be in the Tiger engine because it's in on their like job listings. There's people that they're trying to search for people that to like engine proprietor stuff, like basically technical engineer stuff. But as far as we know, Marathon, it's going to be, you go into the map, you drop in, you're an AI technically. So you go in, you do the extraction stuff, you get the loot that you want, you fight other people, or you go to specific areas. It's like PvE as well, and then you grab it and get out. And they said they're also doing there's going to be like world's first races for different puzzles in the game, and there'll also be like QR stuff that you can find, and then you'll link it from the game to the outside. But yeah, as far as we know, it's that's the most of the information. There's like a bigger, quickly explained article, but yeah. So I would say, if you played Destiny, I would say it's probably going to be more Destiny feel, not like the game itself, like the gameplay. That's how Marathon will probably play, at least. But Bungie are pretty damn good when it comes to gunplay, especially in majority of their games. So I'm excited for that either way.
True, same. I mean, like I've got a love-hate relationship with Destiny. PvE, I'm a massive fan of it. Always enjoy myself. PvP, I've never really gelled with it. But I do appreciate how good their gunplay is. Like, I never feel like it's the game that's the problem. Usually me. But I always feel
it's
like...
more of what's in the actual gameplay itself. It's more, rather than... And like it's more the out-of-game stuff, like balancing and all that type of stuff. But the gunplay is probably what going to be the main selling point of Marathon, at least for me anyway.
Yeah, and it looks like it's been sold as, from what I understand, it is going to be like a full-on PvP extraction shooter, which I think is becoming the new big thing. I think like for a while it was battle royales and stuff like that, but it does feel like now everyone's moving into this PvP extraction shooter. We've had things like the finals, hyenas. We had another game at the beginning of this which was announced. I'm just scrolling up so I could find it.
Was it Fair Game? Or
Fair Games,
like
yeah. So Fair Games was announced.
Yeah.
So again, what looks like another extraction shooter. So
I think it all kind of spurred off the popularity of Tarkov, right? Because that's the PvP extraction.
Yeah.
Vigor came out as well, and I don't know if that was that a precursor to Tarkov, or did it come out afterwards?
Might have been. I'm not sure.
I'm not.
They
sure
all seem to go on
of
the same. Yeah, they go on the same sort of lines, don't they?
Yeah. But yeah, well, I mean, I'm interested in it. Like, I've enjoyed things like X Defiant, and I've enjoyed my time in finals and hyenas. So I'm interested. And again, give me a gameplay loop that I like, and put it in the hands of someone like Bungie. It's going to be a good time.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, like the big things from the PlayStation ones, we had obviously the Spider-Man extended gameplay. We saw that. It was like a good 10 minutes of Spider-Man,
Looked
which
really good.
so good. Like Insomniac can do no wrong in my eyes.
I mean, like the thing that I suppose I like about Spider-Man 2 the most is just that it's not like reinventing the wheel.
Mhm.
It's just taking that wheel and adding some chrome onto it,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
adding extra stuff. Because I think that this time we're getting Venom, Craven,
Raven.
Lizard. I don't know if I don't think Scorpion might be returning. I'm not entirely
I've
sure, but
not personally
yeah.
seen anything myself, but I mean, I won't put it past them.
and then also building off like the two Spider-Men, like the Miles Morales, and also with Peter and stuff as well.
I'm interested to see how that's going to play. Like, I don't know. From the trailer, it looked like you could switch whenever you wanted, but it might have been like that might have just been like set up for that set piece. But yeah, I mean, I'm interested to see how that plays out. I also like the way that the Venom suit is affecting Peter Parker.
My camera's gone. Hang on.
No worries.
Is it back?
Here we go.
There we go.
Yeah. So I'm very interested to see how
off.
that plays out. Because again, Insomniac can always do a great story. Spider-Man 1 was fantastic. So yeah, I'm very interested to see how they go and play with that mechanic into.
I mean, for me, the PlayStation event itself, like we had the final shape trailer. So as a Destiny guy, I kind of lost my marbles with that.
Lost my mind.
As obviously seeing Cade coming back for that. Just a couple of games to briefly touch on at least. Dragon's Dogma 2 looked awesome. I feel like Capcom are absolutely killing it at the moment across the board.
So
with a lot of their stuff, Street Fighter and
I'll talk about Capcom a little bit in a bit, but yeah, gameplay wise,
I know,
game wise, they are doing fantastic. Presentation wise,
what else was there? Oh, Helldivers.
Helldivers looked like so. Yeah. I've recently played a new Starship Troopers game. It's just dropped in early access, and I for a minute I thought we were getting even more Starship Troopers games. I was like, I'm here for this. Like, it had the comedy aspect of that. Yep. Definitely, like, it's so self-aware. But then when they said it was Helldive, I was like, oh, okay, interesting. Yeah, I'm interested to see what they do with that.
If I had to kind of like, I'd say, because there's a couple of third-party games which you can go into, which are in some of the other showcases as well. As a showcase, I think this was, at least for a Sony perspective, was kind of disappointing because we got obviously Helldivers was announced that it was for PlayStation 5 and PC, but the at least the media were kind of hyping it up to be this big, amazing showcase, and all we got was Spider-Man and obviously some cool stuff with Bungie, and all of the games that were shown off were obviously, I'm not gonna be like, oh, these games are terrible, but as a like PlayStation owner, it wasn't something to like shout about, if that makes sense.
No, I get you. I'd agree. I think like the games that they show were good, but then none of them were system sellers in my eyes. Again, Spider-Man 2 maybe, but at a push. But there was nothing that made me, when I saw it, was like, I'm so glad that I now own a PS5. Because everything that was now, like you'd say maybe Marathon and I don't know what else it'd be on there, but I think Marathon, they've confirmed that's going to be a multi-platform as well anyway.
Yep. It's cross-platform, and cross-play as well. So
Metal Gear as well, which was predominantly a PlayStation title so long, has now been confirmed it is going to be multi-platform as well, including the re-releases of the originals. So they're going to be multi-plat, as we saw with the Nintendo Direct recently. I'm just scrolling through. I mean, the only thing that we saw here that I could probably say is single platform, or exclusive, I guess is the word that kids use these days, is Final Fantasy 16. We got another trailer for that. But again, I played the demo. I think that sold it enough for me. I didn't need another trailer. So
they just kind of I'll talk about it when we talk about Summer Games Fest. But there's something that links back to this showcase for sure when it comes to this. But yeah, I mean, if we're going to talk about the Summer Games Fest, it was. What do you think? Like, what do you think of the Summer Games Fest in general?
Good. Like, I genuinely like. I'd say it was a pretty good show. socially, I'd say like where were the women? But I think that's been a comment for a lot of people. And I know that's weird saying that when there's like 3 blokes talking about video games. But yeah, just, I don't have the money that Jeff Keighley has. So hi.
I think the thing that was great, about the Summer Games Fest is it's always the show is kind of, it's trying to fill a hole with E3, and at least with this specific instance, it's trying to offer at least something different.
Yeah.
But yeah, was there anything that you like, any specific games from the showcase that you were like, yes, I'm sold on that? Like at least from the Summer Games Fest, anyway.
Absolutely, so many. I'm gonna hold my tongue for a little bit, Matt. If you've got any you want to jump in with first.
Oh, straight away I was like, Lord of the Rings, like the Moria, Mines of Moria. Straight away I was into that. But then obviously Gollum's come out in between then and here and then. So I bet the game devs are really scratching their heads going, what if we've created the same kind of monster as that? But then, to be honest, it looks like a different game. It's it gives a lot of Deep Rock Galactic vibes, if you guys have played that or seen that. It looks fun. It looks interesting, and you can mine. So Minecraft as a dwarf, but in Lord of the Rings. Yeah, what more do you want?
And it sounds like they managed to get the actual voice actor for Gimli as well, which is interesting.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. At least it sounded like him in the trailer. But we'll see. The only thing I would say about the entire showcase, I feel like the midpoints between games went on a bit too long.
Pacing issues.
Yeah, there was definitely patience. I understand they probably went to pad it out, add revenue and all that. But yeah, for me personally, I think there was a bit too much talking, not enough showing. So yeah, but what they did show, I'll quickly run through some of them that we've got here. Like, a big surprise for everyone was the new Prince of Persia game.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone expected that game. I think we're all just waiting for this remastered version that's coming at some point in the future. And then, they dropped this trailer. And honestly, I'm impressed. Like, every time I've seen this game since, I've been, I want to play this game.
I'm really excited because a lot of people, they don't, like, I was too young anyway. I wasn't thinking I was born when Prince of Persia originally started. But a lot of people don't realize that it was a side scroller originally. And I love, I've watched a bunch of videos talking about how the combat and how the systems will play. And I think it's actually perfect for them to kind of get the series back on track because it's so easy to go down. I feel like Prince of Persia became Assassin's Creed, and then they were trying to do the same thing. But seeing how this is, like, if people are really interested in this, then hopefully that will boost the future for the other Prince of Persia game. Is it Sands of Time remake that they're doing?
Yeah, I think it's the first.
Loved. I can't stop thinking enough. And it's in January, so it's a less risky period for it to go. It might even get played because there was a couple of games this January that were pretty damn good as well. I think Hi-Fi Rush came out in January this year. Way back when. It came out just before Dead Space, I think. But either way, Prince of Persia. Was there
well, I was just going to say, like, the Prince of Persia one excites me mainly because it's the same developers of Rayman Origins. Oh, Rayman Legends, sorry.
Oh, it is.
I think it's Ubisoft Montpellier, who, if you're going to get any development studio to do a 2D side-scroller, it's them. Like, Legends is an amazing game. I'm just going through a list of games here, but straight after that, we got Mortal Kombat 1. Basically, the soft reboot of Mortal Kombat. I'm not a massive fighting game fan, mainly because I'm terrible at them.
Yeah, same.
I really want to play this game. It looks the gore level looks fantastic. I love the addition of like co-op characters that kind of back you up. I like the idea of a soft reboot. I think it's a perfect time to jump back into the series if you've missed it, because the Mortal Kombat series is quite convoluted for a storyline. Like, I'm pretty sure now Liu Kang is now the god of fire.
So the end of 12, I think it was, basically that arc finished, and then this is Liu Kang basically rebooting the world or whatever. Like, I don't know. I didn't play 12, but it looked pretty awesome anyway. Like, Mortal Kombat's Mortal Kombat. Right?
So what
I
number?
really enjoy it.
What number are you allowed to get to before you have to do the kind of reboot? Because Fast and Furious is getting there, right?
Yeah, I feel like once you're into the double digits, like if the returns are kind of dipping, then you start looking at a reboot. Fast. We could get a Fast and Furious. I definitely see like the reboot is a good idea. And again, next gen, perfect time for new people to jump in. Fighting games are having a renaissance at the moment. I think Street Fighter 6 has shown that there's a market out there for it. So I'm very excited for that one. Everybody here played Diablo?
Yes.
How excited were you by the trailer for Path of Exile 2?
That's all I can do. Just thumbs up. The thing with after jumping into Diablo, if people do jump into Path of Exile, they're probably going to be. It's like a kind of a culture. There's always that videos of people getting shot by the skill tree or the passive trees that it's called. And I think that if people can take the advantage, or not the advantage, the popularity of Diablo, and then put that into Path of Exile, which we'll learn about more, I think, next month.
Sometime. Show, yeah.
But like at least for me, I missed the initial launch of Path of Exile, and it wasn't until like years down the line that I was like, okay, I'm going to jump into this.
I'm disconnected.
But I definitely feel like after the amount of hours that I've put into Diablo recently, I'm very interested. It's very intrigued to see how it is, and if it has. I suppose the thing that makes, for me, Diablo amazing is not even the game. It's just having controller support, because I am not a fan of clicking. I think it is like the
motion clicking,
clicking to move. Like I do think that I'll hopefully I'll enjoy Path of Exile 2 when it comes out.
Yeah, so I played a little bit of Path of Exile 1 and I've watched a lot of it, and it looks like it could be a really good. And Mai's back. Hello, Mai. So it looks like it could be a really good jumping in point. Hello there. Hopefully that's a good one. Like you say, we'll see more about that next month. Matt, are you going to be jumping at this one as well?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I think I saw you playing Diablo earlier today on Discord. And it comes up what you're playing on that.
Yeah.
I've really been enjoying Diablo. Actually, I didn't think it was my kind of game, but I do remember playing similar games in the past when I was younger, and I was like, oh yeah, go on then, I'll give it a go, and loving it, absolutely loving it.
Fantastic. I'm very obsessed with trying to get my character to 100. I don't think I'm going to get my name on that hardcore trophy, but
definitely not.
in hardcore mode, I think the best I've got is like 25. And then something goes horribly wrong. Just quickly running through these then. So we've got, the big ones, again, we got another look at Liza P. Wasn't a great trailer, but they did drop a demo. And I don't know if you guys have jumped into the demo yet.
I have played the demo, and it was pretty good. I think it's about like maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours or so, I think. And they're already making changes as well they already like put out a thing that they're going to make changes from the demo to addressing concerns already, so...
Was it the role, the evade role or something, wasn't it?
Potentially, yeah, because like if you double tap B to dodge, they don't. Sometimes he'll just do like a side rather than like a side and then a roll out of the way. So it could be kind of a little bit frustrating. And also, there was a time when I fought like the first boss where you could literally stand, like it's the same as a lot of the Dark Souls games sometimes, where you can stand under his hitbox.
Yeah.
So like he's just swinging over the top of you the whole time. So maybe they'll address that. I don't know if that was intended or not. So, I'm not a game developer. So there's that thing.
It is hard. Just quickly going through, I'm going to run through a lot of these because there's a lot in here that were interesting. If there's anything that you jumped out at you that you're really excited for, let me know.
I'll just give you a thumbs up.
We got an announcement for Sandland, which is the new game from Akira Toriyama. Is the art director on that one, I believe. So it's going to be like an action RPG. I think it's based on a manga as well, Sandland. Not what I'm familiar with. I'm not familiar with a lot of the manga, but you guys interested in checking this one out?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, it's... Yeah.
Oh, it comes out. Actually, no, it comes out in September, so that'll be a no.
No, there's too many games in September. If you could
there's
stop,
a lot.
Please, developers.
The whole autumn release window is just squeezing the life, out of my touching grass life.
Yeah, I've given up on grass. It's
Who needs
worth
grass?
Who
Yeah,
needs
get
grass
enough
when
of
you got
that in
video
August.
Exactly. Exactly. Then we had Throne of Liberty, which is apparently a new MMORPG. Not really an MMO fan myself personally, but
Nah.
looked cool.
Hmm.
The one that
Well,
got
what
me
did you?
excited.
Yeah, go on, go on.
I was going to say,
I was Avatar.
Yes, I'm interested in Avatar.
Only because open world, and I love. I mean, I know the film gets hit and miss reviews, 50-50. You either love it or hate it. But I don't know. Open world Avatar. The world itself is beautiful and amazing, isn't it?
yeah, like I love the first film. I haven't seen the second one yet. I know it's on of the streaming platforms. So I do want to like make some time. Like when I have 3 hours free, I will watch it. But I always enjoy watching the first Avatar.
And also, it's coming out in December as well, so
a nice quiet period. Yeah,
Thank you.
Exactly. Yeah, something to play over Christmas.
exactly. I do know we got like more footage and gameplay at the Ubisoft conference for that. They had a bit more extended showing. It looks basically to me like Far Cry.
I was just about to say, is it just going to be Far Cry, but on an alien planet?
Yeah, it's basically
pretty much, yeah.
Far Cry with it. So instead of being like 6 foot tall, you're like 8 foot tall. But you also get like bow and arrows and AKs to run around with, which I find an interesting
Far Cry.
concept. Yeah. I do find that as a weird concept that's the story they're going with. Of like, we trained the Na'vi to use automatic weapons. Have fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm interested in that one. I'll wait and see. The one that interested me from the Summer Game Fest, though, Alan Wake 2. We finally saw some gameplay footage. I've been waiting for this game since they announced it. I'm so excited. Like, I don't think like Remedy can go wrong ever. This looks so good to me.
But is it 13 years too late?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, right. It's like a fine wine then at this point.
I think Control filled that gap. Because I think, when was Control? 2017 or 18? Or maybe even 19.
Yeah. I think they did a good job. I think the world building that they've done, because obviously they got the rights back to Alan Wake around that time, and then they introduced Alan Wake in Control.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the way that they've built those worlds together and everything is now becoming a connected world, I think this feels more like a natural progression from that, rather than it just being a 13-year-old sequel.
Yeah. So Alan Wake was the starter, then Control was the palate cleanser, and then Alan Wake 2 is going to be the main dish.
Exactly.
Oh, Quantum Break! They made Quantum Break. I actually played that. I really enjoyed that.
I loved it.
It's like a TV movie, like a TV show, but in a video game as well.
Yeah.
I did love that the way that like the choices you made in the game affected the show that it showed you between each act. Really clever. Moving on, Space Marine 2. We already be Ultramarines as big guys, big burly guys together.
I lost my mind because I've been wanting co-op in this game since I've recently replayed the first one, and it took like maybe 4 or 5 hours to complete. And this is hopefully it's going to fill that Gears gap because I played Gears 5 and I've been waiting for this game for so long. And yeah, I won't even go too much into it. I just love Space Marine. I love Warhammer in general. Yeah. So Space Marine 2, I'll be there. I'll be there no matter what, as they say.
Yeah. 3-player co-op as well, which would be exciting. What about you, Matt? Are you down for that one?
It's one of those things that I think I'd love to play, but I don't think I'll get the time for. I mean, I really enjoy Warhammer, but I was never able to actually get into building it and painting it. I like the idea of it, but never actually grabbed it. So I think the games for me I've kind of avoided because of that. But what I have played, I've actually really enjoyed. So I don't know, maybe.
Fair. I'm going to skip a couple because there's I think things we've seen like sequel to indie titles and things like that. John Carpenter's Toxic Commando. As a kid who loves the 80s films, this just speaks to me. It basically looked like Left 4 Dead, but with a John Carpenter twist. Very excited for it.
That's my pretty much. And also, like, to note, the last 2 games we've actually spoke about, Space Marine and this, they're both made by Saber Interactive. And if you played World War Z, you'll see that they're very good at horde mechanics, as in like AI and that. So very excited to see how they do Toxic Commandos for sure. But definitely, it'll be what, as you said, Left 4 Dead, but John Carpenter. So
the name of it just it's just one of those old school 80s like massive long title. So it did make me chuckle when I saw the trailer, but actually the trailer did look good.
Yeah, it looked like a ton of fun. Next up was Baldur's Gate 3. I think we got a new trailer for that. I've been playing some of the early access. If you are a D&D fan, like, this is the game for you. It is D&D, the video game. Obviously, if you're not a fan of those luck rolls and things like that, and you a bit more control over your characters, probably not. But yeah, like, I love what they're doing. I think this is going to be a fantastic game. The Baldur's Gate series is always a ton of fun. You like that kind of stuff.
One day I'll play it. I'll say one day, just because it comes out, I believe, 1 or 2 days, because it's like its full 1.0 launch, I believe, and it's also coming to PlayStation as well. But it's coming out 2 days before Starfield, which we'll talk about more of that in a moment.
Okay. Yeah. I was going to say, I've got my D&D dice here, so I could have rolled, but no. I mean, we're talking about Starfield now, so I'll talk about that.
No, we're going to.
Well, we're going to
talk about Starfield now.
Fest. Oh no. Well, I mean, to be honest, the only other thing that I really saw from Summer Games Fest to kind of like round it off would be that was in like a multiple showcases was Immortals of Avium, which has just been delayed to August the 22nd, I think it is. And I mean, I'm excited for it purely based on the fact that it's like Call of Duty but with mages. So either or. But seeing as we just talked about Starfield, I just mentioned it. That's all I can. I think that's the only word I can really say.
Yeah.
Just,
again,
it's just that's how I feel about Starfield. It was impressive, to say the least.
I would have put a pin in Starfield for a little bit because there's something that got announced at the Summer Game Fest, which I don't know if you guys understand this. How excited I am for this. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. We got a trailer. Not only did we get a trailer, we got a whopping massive trailer. Like, they showed so much. I am honestly, you know, the people like talking about like they buy like PlayStation 5s for like God of War and things like that. I bought my PlayStation 5 so I could play the Final Fantasy VII DLC. That's it. I bought it for the DLC when they released that on PS5. Like, this is how much I love this game. I am like, I'm an OG Final Fantasy VII fan. These remakes have been just so exciting to come back to and see an expanded story. It looked beautiful. I'm sure it's going to play beautiful. They take anything that we've seen from Final Fantasy 16 and put it into 7. Oh, my word. Oh, I'm in heaven. That was Summer Game Fest. All in all, good show. Bit long. A lot of talking.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, in between that and I kind of want to just get to the Xbox showcase. We did have a Future Game Fest, which had a couple of good games in there. We got another look at Stray Gods, which is basically a role-playing musical with every like mainline voice actor in the world performing in it.
Troy Baker, I think.
Troy Baker, Laura Bailey, like a ton of others.
Yeah.
I've got the demo installed and I'm ready to try it out. I'm interested to see what it's going to be like. Just the idea of a role-play musical sounds interesting to me.
It's not been touched upon as much in gaming, is it? The musical genre.
No. I think we need more musicals, please, developers.
Yes, please. You heard it here first.
Was there anything else that you guys saw at Summer Game Fest that kind of grabbed your attention?
Or the Future Game Show.
Oh, the Future Game Show.
Yeah.
Game show.
What
Game
about
Fest.
you, Matt? Was anything that you saw? Because I've got 2 games, which are basically kind of the same game in a sense.
Go for it. Yeah. What did you hear? What did you see?
Well, for me, it would be Lords of Fallen and The Last Faith. The Last Faith is essentially side-scrolling Bloodborne. Basically, in that sense, it's also. Have you ever heard of the game Blasphemous?
Yeah.
Or there's also Salt and Sanctuary. Yeah. It's similar. It's basically a Souls-like side screen, and for me, the standout one was Lords of Fallen. It's essentially the spiritual successor to the Lords of Fallen, or Lords of Fallen, way back when it came out. I think it was 2014 that it came out. And the thing that I like the most about it is that it's the gameplay is taking a step from there was another game that came out where you were like a spirit in a shell. A mortal shell, that was the one.
Yeah.
And basically, in Lords of Fallen, there's two worlds. There's the, like, say, hell, like, the corrupted world and the main world. And then if you die, you go into this underworld area, and the game will play you can utilize both in certain gameplay mechanics to be able to do these different realms. And one, it's running on Unreal 5, which it looks amazing. I love the art style of it. It's that dark fantasy type deal that we get, and as long as it plays pretty well, I think it'll be good. And it's coming to all the major platforms. I think in October as well. But yeah, I think that was the one that I've been looking forward to, at least when I heard that it was going to get another trailer, and it was a pretty banger trailer, to be honest, as well.
Yeah, it did look good.
But that's it really from the Future Game Show. A lot of cool indies, but nothing of like note that I would be like, yeah, that's what I'm definitely going to be picking that up. Mainly a lot of stuff will be on like the Steam Next Fest.
Yeah.
Where you can just go and try out the demos of stuff, which I've tried out a couple already. And yeah, I like what I'm seeing.
I know Precinct stood out for me as like a bit of a blast from the past GTA kind of sandbox game. That looked cool. I think more the nostalgia effect for me, because I was like, oh, it's updated GTA. I can go back to the first one again. But then talking of nostalgia is also Instinction, which gave some massive Turok vibes. And I think I just enjoyed Turok back in the day because it was like GoldenEye but with dinosaurs. So Instinction looks a bit bigger, like it's broadened their horizons a little bit. But yeah, certainly piqued my interest.
So I would point out, and I've talked about this on my videos in the past as well, but I do a lot of work with the publisher Quali. So you mentioned Precinct, that is going to be one of their games. That they're dropping.
Fantastic.
And the other one that they announced at the Future Game Show was Spirit of the Samurai, which looks like a stop motion, like 2D side scroller, but stop motion animation side scroller, where you can play as both a samurai, a spirit, and a cat. And I mean, who doesn't want to play as a cat in a game, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, I think there's been a cat resurgence, like with Stray.
Yeah,
and like a few other games that have just had cat. I mean, Hi-Fi Rush had a cat in it.
Yep.
Like, there's just it seems like cats, and I'm pretty sure the Can I Pet the Dog page has also Can You Pet the Cat as well on there as well on Twitter, as it just basically goes through all the games that you can pet a dog in. But yeah, I think the Samurai game was at the end of the showcase. It was like the last game that they showed off.
Yeah. Looks again, I'm not sponsored to say it looked good. I'm just sponsored to try the games. But yeah, no, it looked very interesting. I'm very I don't know what it is. Like, we'll talk about it. We'll come to the Xbox showcase, but we had another one that was announced there that was stop motion. I love that art style in video games. Just something about it. It makes it feel more not realistic, but like it makes it feel like more tactile. Like the characters are actually alive and kind of things like that. I'm interested to try that out. But yeah, those were the big ones for me. I think Lords of the Fallen.
Seeing as we've mentioned it,
go on,
and we've alluded to it, shall we talk about the Xbox showcase to kind of round this all off?
I think we've run out of time, guys. Sorry, thank you. Yes, let's talk about the Xbox showcase. What a showcase it was.
Initial thoughts. Without going over any particular games,
Matt loved it so much he's gone blurry again.
I just passed out from the excitement from it all. Oh, come on, camera! I think
the thing that was the best thing about it was the pacing.
Yeah,
I loved that about the show because I think it was about the main show was about an hour and 10 minutes or something like that, but it was just game. Here's Starfield to finish. And I think that was just the perfect. I think that's what people want to see. But let's just start. Let's restart from the top. And I'll say Fable.
How do you start a conference with Fable?
With Richard Ayoade.
With Richard Ayoade to be to start the Xbox showcase. You know what? We're just gonna start with Fable.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know when you go to the cinema and there's that voice that they do, where it's like where all the lights go out and it's like, it's quiet. did I scare you? It's like the Mark Strong
Yeah.
voice that you hear. It's just like that from Richard Ayoade. It's like, okay. Fable looks good. Like, if what we saw in that trailer is like, some of it is actually gameplay, Playground.
That's the thing. If it's just going to be a gimmick, then I'm just. I mean, what's the game where you've got to run away? Is it Little Nightmares, where there's that sort of element? It looked like it had taken some elements from that, but then also you get the hero wandering around through the forest defeating bandits, and then you get the classic voice lines from the characters where some of them love you and some of them just think, "Oh, you're a wanker," like you saw that bit where she turns around like. What? I mean, I remember playing Fable, and I was standing there just upgrading stats and things. I ate some celery, and then this random NPC just went, "Yeah!" really loudly. And if it's bringing that old school vibes to it, then I'm all for it. Definitely.
I think they've definitely captured the vibe of Fable. Like from what I understand, like, correct me if I'm wrong. Are Playground Games a UK studio?
I think they are, yes, because they've worked a lot on obviously Horizon, Forza Horizon.
Yeah. I think they've done like a really good job of capturing the vibe of original Fable. You can't have Fable without it being that like dry English humor.
Yeah, Playground Games based in Leamington Spa.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, perfect.
I'm actually going to be quite controversial here. Although it looked pretty cool when it comes to Fable, I want to see more. Like I want to be impressed a little bit more, because I know it's like a very early graphical showcase, but it did look kind of rough around at least rough from the edge around the edges.
Right.
So I do want to see like more of the systems and stuff, but 100% like I'm not, oh god, Halo's like Halo, that's Fable I should say. I'm super happy for everyone, like seeing a shout out to Retro that like she was getting super emotional about it, which is what I was really excited. Like I love people getting excited about things that they love, so that's the thing. But I'm reserving judgment on Fable for the time being. But yeah,
I however, if anyone out there from Playground Games is looking for a voice actor to voice act a character, then I'm all there. Yeah, that would be a dream to be in a Fable game.
Hashtag Mighty for Fable. Do it.
That's right. Yeah,
then we had South of Midnight next.
So this
was that the other stop motion game you're on about?
So this is the brand new game from Compulsory Games. If you're not familiar with them, they're the team behind We Happy For You. So they were one of the recent, like I think they're one of the first purchases when Xbox went off on their massive spree with their checkbook. So they picked these up after We Happy For You launched. So this is their brand new game. No release date. From what we understand, again, like I say, with all the first party trailers that we saw at this convention, showcase.
It's an online convention. We were all gathered together in our homes.
Exactly. They had the fan fest as well. But from what I understand, this was all like either in-engine or actual gameplay. And if this is what in-engine's going to look like, I'm excited. I'm very excited for this one. Again,
it's just something so different. It's just so different, and that's what I think interests me the most. And that's like before we move on to the next game, that's the thing that I liked about this conference or this showcase specifically, is just every game appealed to different audiences, like that of different types of games, and there was just different distinct stuff. Like if you go straight from South of Midnight, you've got like a like a Louisiana like setting, like deep South America type, Southern America, to Star Wars, right? Which was Star Wars Outlaws, which I have I cover Star Wars games quite a lot on my YouTube channel, and I have heard about this game since roughly 2019 or 2020 when when Lucasfilm was shopping game, like because the contract comes to the end with EA, they were shopping the IP around, and when I heard Massive announced with the Star Wars property, I was thinking Division, meet Star Wars, sign me like in, and it just we saw more gameplay of it on the Ubisoft Forward event, but it already is ticking so many boxes, especially from the trailer, and also come on, man, like there's a battle droid or a security assassin droid in a trench coat.
Yeah, the commando droid. Yeah,
commando droid in a trench coat.
I showed my son is a big Clone Wars fan, and with all the cartoons and things, and he instantly spotted the commando droid and was like, "That's a commando droid!" Like because he thought they were the coolest things as well, even though they were the baddies. He was like, "Yeah, they are cool."
Yeah,
I mean, for me, it was. Is it the thanks? The it was a couple of years ago. There was the prophesized bounty hunter game that they had that was going to come out.
Project Ragtag, I think it was called.
Is this using elements from that, do you think? Are they pooling things together to put into that?
As far as I know, that game was cancelled because it was under EA with Amy Hennig, which was she is now working. She's doing the game with Marvel.
Yeah, so
I believe
she's doing
it's the one.
Captain America Black Panther.
Yes, that's the one. This is also a lot of people are talking about. Do you remember Star Wars 1313? It's there, which was supposed to be like a Boba Fett, like early thing. But they're taking all of these elements. The best way to describe, I'd say, if I was to summarize Star Wars Outlaws, is GTA in space, like in Star Wars, because you'll be going around all of the different crime syndicates.
I want it now.
Yeah. So it's like crime syndicates, and you're building up the reputation with them. Obviously, there'll be a main story, but if they tie that in, and hopefully, fingers crossed that they can pull it off, because it's supposed to be coming out in 2024. And the community manager watched my reaction on YouTube, and she took screenshots of it and replied back to me, and I was like, yes, I'm 100% in. Anything Star Wars related, I'm 100% in.
I mean, I'm not getting my legs out, but yeah, I've got a massive Star Wars tattoo. I'm a bit of a fan, to say. And
what were you going to say, Matt? Oh, yes.
Just showing his chest off for no apparent reason.
Yeah, just got my chest out.
Stretching, yeah.
Yeah, just stretching out. I forgot what I was going to say, but it was important. I can't remember. I mean, obviously, the little sidekick character looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a fairy axolotl. What do you want?
Yeah, thank you. I've been trying to think what it reminds me of.
Yeah, I'm very excited for that one. Again, like you say, we saw a little bit more at the Ubisoft conference. Looked cool. Very excited to see what comes of that one. Next up, we had the next title from Thunder Lotus, who are the studio behind Spiritfarer. If you've not played that, beautiful game. Something a little bit different from them. This is 33 Immortals. So it's basically, it looks like, to me, Hades with 32 other people, where you go off in raids. I don't know I 32 other people, but I'm definitely excited for this one. Like, just the
if they have matchmaking, then I think this will be very something that people will jump on. And it's also, as they put in all of the conferences, it was on Game Pass, day one Game Pass, and I think that will pull a lot of people in, just at least try and check it out.
I'll definitely be checking it out regardless. If it's got, like you say, open matchmaking where you can just jump in with randos. I don't know if you saw the extended showcase a couple of days later, but we did get Phil Spencer playing the game.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So Phil Spencer and a couple of devs were checking it out. It looks quite interesting. It looks very much like all 33 of you drop into one big map, and then you've got to hit like smaller outposts across the map as like smaller squads. So I'm very interested to see how it plays like long term. It looks cool, very much like Bullet Hell-esque in the later sections. Yeah, very fun. Next up, we had a game that I didn't expect to get excited for, but I am actually excited for it. Payday 3.
Yes, yeah.
Like, I've always
been rumored for a while.
Yeah, like I knew, like, because I think the studio went through some troubles, and
what is the studio?
I can't remember the name of the studio, and I feel like a bad presenter here, but if you guys don't mind looking that up. But yeah, they were. I do remember that Payday 2 went through some troubles. Luckily, the studio survived, and then obviously now they've started working on Payday 3. The thing that excites me the most about this is the fact that it's going to be on Game Pass day one. This is the perfect game for like getting a group of people together and just running through a few maps.
Starbreeze
Overkill Software, by the way, or I think it was it was published by Prime Matter.
Right, yeah.
But then also now it's attached to PlayOn.
Yeah.
Is it?
Which is
I've got Overkill and Starbreeze.
I
Starberries,
think that it's
Yeah.
I think that because I think PlayOn are also attached to the big Embracer group.
Yeah.
So they're like a sub under that and all the stuff. So,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, as you said, perfect for the Game Pass on PC, on Xbox. I think there's going to be crossplay as well. So if there's that, which is just a no-brainer if you're doing both PC and Xbox, then yeah, that's also 21st of September that comes out. So it's another obviously chocked month, but still, that's a game that you can jump in at any point. I think do a couple of heists, and I think like the depth of like I've heard like build crafting in that game, like some of the stuff that you can do is pretty in Payday 2 at least.
Yeah.
So if there's any a fraction of that in Payday 3, then yeah.
The trailer made it look as well like there might be some elements of PvP in there as well.
Ooh,
I don't know if I'm
maybe.
just reading a bit too much into it, but it definitely looked like a team can play as the cops. And if that's the case, that'd be really interesting.
Oh, that would be a cool idea, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of brings back to Battlefield Hardline, and it wasn't a bad game, but people didn't really hook on with it, did they? But it tried and tested method, one good team versus bad team.
Yeah.
It'd be like Siege as well. Is another one of those that you can kind of be like.
Yeah, I think that'd be more like in the Siege level because it's like a smaller team rather than like Battlefield, like first 20 or whatever it was.
I suppose it'll be easier to talk about them as a whole here. But can we talk about how Atlas just decided to bring the whole book and just throw it on the table? We had Persona 3 Reloaded, aka like the remake like they did with Persona 4, I think they remade it. That. We also had the new game, I think it was Mephisto. No, not Mephisto. I'm probably talking out of my ass here when I say that.
Scroll down for this one.
I'm trying to find it. It begins with M.
Metaphor
Refantasio.
That's the one.
Refantasio. Yeah. Okay, I'm butchering this. And then the what was the other one that they showed off? The turn-based Persona 5 one.
Persona 5 Tactica.
And I have a friend who is a massive Atlas fan, and now that they're obviously coming to Game Pass and also to the Xbox as well, he's like amped. He's just finished playing 4, I think, or 5 because it was on the Game Pass quite recently. And he doesn't play games that often because he's obviously works and such, but he's put in like 200 hours, and he's just been telling me every single time he gets the chance, he's like, "Yes, I'm in." Like end of the week, I put in like 6 hours of it, and I'm like, "Yeah, man!" Like I'm super happy for those, and they're just big games. I've just never really had the time to play them, but yeah, I'm super happy for those people that want to get into the Atlas RPGs for sure.
I think it goes without saying as well. Like it is such a big get for Xbox. One of the complaints for a very few years was that there was not a lot of Japanese titles, a lot of RPGs, just not covering those bases at all. And to see them going, like, again, the Persona series, like getting Atlas on board as Game Pass, getting the Like a Dragon series, so our Yakuza series in there as well. You can tell they're really making a concerted effort to like give the fans of those kind of series what they want. And again, I think you mentioned right at the beginning, like this was definitely a showcase that there was something for everyone.
Yeah.
And I think, Atlas being an addition is a fantastic ad. But yeah, next up we had Avowed, the next title from Obsidian, another RPG, similar to, Obsidian, like, so good at what they do. So good. I mean, still to this day,
think that Avowed, a lot of people were very disappointed with how Avowed looked.
Right.
But then if you actually go back and look at when we had the first announcement, which was, I think 2020 was when we had the first trailer. That thing was like a cinematic trailer, and I was expecting the game to look a lot like how the Outer Worlds looked graphically, at least from that point. But apparently, it's linked to is it the Pathfinder or Pillars of Eternity universe?
Pillars of Eternity.
Pillars of Eternity. So, however that system looks, and I mean, going off your point about Microsoft not having RPGs, this showcase had RPG, like literally
RPG. You want an
reels of
RPG?
them
You want an
coming out.
RPG? You get an RPG. You get an RPG. Yeah, they had so many, and like again, I'm excited for Avowed. I think Obsidian are like the masters of that craft, so I'm very excited to see like this is like it feels like their baby, their pride and joy that they're working on at the moment. Are you excited for this one as well, Maya? Like, are you an RPG fan?
I certainly enjoyed the trailer. I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah.
And definitely an RPG fan.
A lot more colourful than I expected. Again, like you say, the trailer that we got a few years back was very much one dark shot in a cave. But now seeing all of the world in front of us with all the brightly coloured animals and fauna, very excited for that one. We then got a tie-in for Sea of Thieves and Monkey Island.
Yeah.
Yep. And also Flight Simulator as well. Like
that looked amazing. The Flight Sim one.
Was it? Is it a new game, or is it just kind of like we're updating it but calling it a new game?
So I think it's a new game, and it does seem like they're adding a lot more into it.
It's more of like a campaign-based sort of strategy.
Yeah.
So I'll imagine they'll still have the sim side of it because it's Flight Simulator. You can't. But I think they're going to be adding a lot more like story-based, or not story-based, but like mission-based stuff into it too. Then they also announced the crossover with Dune as well, which is going into the flight sim.
I mean, if there's a spaceship that you want to fly, it's some of the Dune spaceships, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Those Firefly, the Dragonfly type vehicles just look incredible.
Yeah, I'm not even going to remember.
I know I jumped ahead a little bit, but I think YouTube have probably played more Sea of Thieves than me, so you'll probably be able to comment. I think you may have played a lot of Sea of Thieves, right, Matty? Potentially.
Yeah.
What did you think of the Legend of Monkey Island?
Well, I was lucky enough to be in London at the Xbox event, so there were lots of Xbox fans there. The crowd were quite tame. There were a couple of people whooping and things, but Sea of Thieves Monkey Island was one of the ones that got the biggest whoop out of the crowd that were there. But I thought as anything with Sea of Thieves, the trailer was polished. It looked fun. It had the comedy stuff in there that you're used to from Sea of Thieves as well, and of course the whole Monkey Island vibe as well. I mean, a lot of people I think thought that it was going to go down the Peter Pan route for Sea of Thieves. So for Monkey Island to suddenly pop out is cool.
Yeah.
Nice little surprise.
Again, it's nice that it's a free add-on as well. They do really good with that.
They've been credit to Rare. Sorry to interrupt, but credit to Rare. They from where the game was to where it is now is just incredible. I still have friends now that still play, and they'll literally say, we have to play this weekend because there's a double reputation reward community thing, and they're there grinding ships and stuff on the weekend to get the loot and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, man,
sounds about right.
I love to see that type of stuff.
Jumping ahead, we had finally good extended look at Senua's Saga Hellblade 2. This might be the sleeper hit for Xbox. This looked amazing. Ninja Theory have gone above and beyond this one, I think. They're just showing their entire bag on this one. I don't know what you guys thought about it, but I'm very excited for this. The first one was fantastic. This looks
Have you played? What did you think, Matty? Did you think it was any good?
I haven't played the others, but it kind of made me feel like I needed an upgraded headset to join in properly. The sound effects that were in there, all the different voices that you're hearing that was incredible.
Such a good job.
I think it was the first trailer I've actually, because I've played maybe 3 or 4 hours of the first game. I never got around to completing it, but the even with the earbuds that I've got on right now, I literally felt a shiver go up my spine. I literally went like this, when I was watching it, because of the way that the audio design is done. And I think that is just something so graphically it looks incredible as well. I don't know if it's in Unreal 5,
I believe so.
But that is something that if you can do a really good messing with the audio because of the different voices are there, and like it's like a good creepy. Like it's like it gets me interested. Like when I was watching the trailer, you're not just like, oh, this is another gameplay trailer. It's like, no, okay, why is there a voice in my right ear? Okay, now it's behind me. Now it's in my left ear. And now it's in front of me. Like, okay.
Yeah, it wasn't a gameplay trailer. It was an experience. Like you definitely felt like
exactly.
From what I understand, like Ninja Theory went out because the first one definitely dealt with a lot of mental health issues. With like schizophrenia and things like that, and I know that they went into a lot of detail on like trying to like authentically capture what that feels like, and I think they've done a really good job of it. Like you say, with the voices and the audio that they've got, I think this is like I said, this is one for me. I think is going to be far and away a hit when it finally launches, which I think they said it's going to be out in 2024.
Yeah.
So we've still got a bit of time to wait yet, but I am eagerly awaiting that one. Next up, we had Like a Dragon, Dicks Out, Infinite Wealth. This was the funniest trailer of the day, I think.
Yeah.
Like
really well done as well. Like not like it was kind of like on the nose, but not on the nose
like
at the same time.
They knew what they were doing, but yeah, they were having fun with it. Like a Dragon series is always fun. Again, if you're into Japanese RPGs, I think this one's more of a. I don't know if they're because it used to be the Yakuza series, and then I think in Japan it was always known as Like a Dragon, but they've just brought the Western audience up.
I think there was a reason why they changed the name was because it was tied to the Yakuza, because they wanted it to be not obviously the series would have been titled that, but they changed it all into Like a Dragon. Because there was to stop consumers with like the negative connotations that obviously around with it being the gangs, organized crime in Japan.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
But I do think that if it's, I believe Like a Dragon, at least the first one, which came out like maybe 2 years ago or so. I'll tell you now that the team behind, I don't know who it is that makes the Like a Dragon series. What's the studio?
I can't remember the
because
name of the studio,
they crank them out.
Yeah, they do.
They put them out They put a lot of games out.
They've announced
because we had Inshin that came out last year, or earlier this year. The one where he's basically a samurai with a gun.
Yeah, and they did announce another Like a Dragon in one of the other showcases as well. So they've already announced like two. Like I think there's the Like a Dragon. I think it's the man who gave up his name, or
Man with No Name.
That was it. The Man with No Name.
I think.
So they've announced that, which is again the more feudal based one, and then now Infinite Wealth, which apparently is the actual sequel to the previous Like a Dragon. So this is Like a Dragon 8. But yeah, I'm excited for that one.
Yeah, it was Ishin. Ishin was this year. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
More DLC for Fallout 76.
Yep.
Anyone going back to that?
No.
Not anytime soon. I don't think I've ever played. I think I've ever played it. Obviously, the controversy. But once again, another game that's come on leaps and bounds since an awful launch.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
I'll be honest. My experience with that game, I loaded it up. I got out of the vault. I got to the first mission where I'm supposed to find the person that left the vault, and the person didn't load, and I couldn't continue the game at all.
Well then.
So, good times.
Yeah.
Then we got, I'm going to butcher this, so apologies. Kanutsigami, Path of the Goddess. This was weird. So this is a Capcom title. Looks like a hack and slash.
Yeah, they showed off the same trailer in the Capcom showcase as well.
I'm gonna bitch. I'm gonna talk about the Capcom showcase at the end, but yeah, that was bad.
I have no reaction.
Yeah, it was fine.
It's a game that looks cool. I suppose.
It's a game.
it was indeed a game.
We had Forza that was shown off.
Oh, Forza looks so good.
I once again super happy for racing fans. Once again, another game that is just so different to the game previous to it. We've if you love cars and you love cars that look pretty in a video game, and you'd like your computer to catch on fire potentially, then Forza is going to be the one.
And cue all the videos of people with the expensive rigs, but still playing it with the camera behind the car rather than inside the car.
Yeah.
I play my games.
Yeah, me too, but I don't have an expensive rig.
Yeah. But no, like racing games. I've said this whenever I've talked to anyone about these things, but racing games seem to be like the benchmark for graphical prowess, and this looks, this
I'd
looks
agree.
so good. Like there was a point in the I think it was a point where he was where they were showing a car, and then the kind of just showed the car on stage. I was like, wait, when did the gameplay end? And I was like,
I know exactly the same feeling.
like,
and I was like, wait, that's a person? Oh, wait, it's real. It's real.
That's a real
it's
thing.
real.
Then we had Journey to Necrom, the new DLC for Elder Scrolls Online.
I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people that are interested in that. Haven't played it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna gloss over Overwatch 2 because I'll get angry if I start talking about that, especially when it comes to the PvE related stuff.
Wait, you don't want to pay $15 on just to get access to it?
Yeah. We've already talked a little bit about Persona 5 Tactica, which is just the tactics persona. Starfield. Hold on, Matt. Hold, Matt. Hold. We had a couple of indie games. We had just Sant, I think it is, which was like the one that was in the wall.
Yeah, so I played the demo for this. Just to stop you in there. So good. Like it is. So this is the one from Don't Nod. Typically do games like Tell Me Why and things like that. But yeah, it's beautiful. The climbing mechanic, because it is very much a climbing puzzle game. The climbing mechanic is so much more in depth than you think it will be, but not at the detriment of being interesting and fun to do. And yeah, the mechanics of the game are just beautiful. Definitely recommend checking out the demo. It's available this week of the Steam Next Fest.
Is the demo for...
Just go watch my video.
Is in the description. Is the next game the Still Wakes the Deep? Is that got a demo, or is that just shown off there? Was that part of the Steam Next Fest?
No, so that was just... So I think Still Wakes the Deep is just an announcement trailer. I've not seen anything else about this. It basically looks like a Layers of Fear style title. Yeah,
I know that Thingy was excited about this Yum in our friend group.
Yeah.
Then we had Dungeons of Hinterberg? Yeah, Hinterberg, which is like a hack and slash, kind of like Hi-Fi Rush art style. Not say art style, but like colourful hack and slash type game.
Probably a book come to life.
And then I think before we talk about the three big RPGs, I would say just briefly touch upon City Skylines 2. I think looked really cool, and I'm like, what is wrong with me? Because every single time I see like a game, I'm like, I'll play that, and then I realize, oh wait, I've got all these other games, because once again, it's another game coming out in October this year.
But it's on
pretty
Game Pass,
crazy. Yeah, it's also coming to Game Pass as well.
Also on Game Pass.
And then
it reminded me of SimCity. The trailer just, I was like, it's SimCity. This is SimCity. This is another SimCity. Oh right, it's just Cities Skyline 2. Cool.
I haven't played Banner Saga, but I have played. Do you remember Castle Crashers?
Yeah.
A few years ago, like I say, 360 era, I think.
Mm-hmm.
We had Towerborn, which looks very much the same as that, like 4-player Streets of Rage, like hack and like beat 'em up, basically, which looked very, very good. From showing, and now we can do this in 3 ways. I think it's probably the best way to save Starfield till like the latter part. But
Spaceship.
Big ships.
I'd say out of the 3, I'd say the first one I want to talk about, which I've looked into, is Clockwork Revolution by In Exile. What did you guys think? 'Cause I thought it looked amazing for an In Exile RPG.
I'm interested. So it looked, I mean, just to get it out of the way, it looked very much like Bioshock Infinite.
Yes,
with some really cool mechanics to it. I'm interested to check it out. In Exile, always do great games. Very interested to see what they do in that world. I did see some kind of fallout after the fact. The trailer was a bit too plagiarizing from, I think it might have actually been a Bioshock trailer. Someone said it took a lot of... I don't know if it was supposed to be an homage or if it was unintentional or what, but yeah.
It feels
it was my initial thought as well.
Yeah. it feels very much just like the same art style, like era style, like steampunk, like clockwork, clock punk. I suppose if you want to say that, which is what I think Bioshock Infinite is.
It also had a kind of Dishonored feel to it as well.
Yes.
I think with the gameplay.
Yeah,
which was really interesting.
I did like the tagline at the end, coming in due time.
Coming in due time.
Yeah.
You should do voice
In
service.
Exile, if you're unfamiliar with Unexile, anyone that's watching it, they made Wasteland and Wasteland 1, 2, and 3, which are very, very good RPGs from
so
people.
This is going to be a slight difference for them because usually they do like top-down RPGs, like tactical turn-based ones. So I'm interested to see what they're going to do in this world, if it is just going to be like an FPS style action RPG, or if the trailer just kind of lent into those and it's going to be more of a tactical game again. But again, we'll see in time. I'm interested to see what it's going to be like. Do you want to take the next one?
I was going to say the big reveal. Well, say reveal, but the showcase of Cyberpunk. Now, I am actually more excited for the patch than I am the new DLC, which I think you'll probably echo the same statements, because the media likes to talk it up as like the biggest thing that is, but it's basically they're overhauling a lot of the systems in the game that they've been talking about for a long time, and this will actually get me to, because I haven't actually beaten Cyberpunk yet. I've not beaten it. Oh no, blasphemy, right? But I'm gonna do like a full playthrough from start to finish. If Starfield doesn't take up majority of my time in September, which it probably will do, but it will. Cyberpunk for you guys, what did you think?
Day one, jumping into that one. I am one of those rare people that I enjoyed my time in Cyberpunk. Like, I didn't have any issues. Some graphical issues, but nothing like game breaking. I think everything that they've said for this DLC, I'm very excited for. Like you said, the revamping of the systems, a lot of changes into how the gameplay mechanics actually work. The DLC as well, having Idris Elba and Keanu Reeves in a video game.
Yeah.
Two of the coolest people on the planet in one of the coolest looking video games.
Yeah.
Like, how could
and
you
I think
not
this is also like their last. They've said this is their last DLC. I think.
Yeah.
Because they've also announced that it's under the code name, I think, Orion, which is what Cyberpunk 2 is going to be. Whether it's Cyberpunk 2 or Cyberpunk 2078. Yeah, like
new year, new me.
Yeah, but I want to throw this over to Matty because you got to go to the Starfield Xbox event in was it London? Was it?
Yes.
Yes. First of all, like, I want to just ask, what was the event like, and two, what was the reaction to Starfield like from that event?
Well, by the time Starfield came around, I think everyone was about 2 drinks deep. So everyone was very jolly, a lot more willing to make noises. As you went into the event, you went down like the Xbox like Hall of Fame, so it had all the Xboxes and the big original X silver chrome Xbox thing. It's very cool, really cool to look at. And there was also some Lucasade sponsored Xbox Series S's that were there as well.
Oh, cool.
Just in a case by themselves. There were 3 of them. There was a pink, orange, and red, I think. The pink one really stood out, actually. It was the one that I really wanted. There was a raffle as well, so somebody won one of those. And of course, they chose the pink one as well. But that was it. The case was empty apart from those 3 Xboxes, and there was a reason for that, obviously, because during the big showcase, they announced that there was going to be a headset, there was going to be a controller, there was going to be a watch, and the Constellation Steelbook, and all that kind of stuff. So while we were in there watching it, they replaced all of these things in this display cabinet with those items. So it was like we went in and we saw the Xboxes, and we came out and it was like, oh, that's the watch. Like, oh, that's so cool. So yeah, that was really cool. Lots of whooping, lots of cheering, and like I say, I think drink definitely opens some people up to what they really feel. But I mean, overall, go on, you guys tell me, what did it look like? What was the experience like for you?
I mean, I mean, I'll let Paul go first because I think I've got a lot to say. Like, just I think both of our reactions. I think I've watched part of your reaction as well on YouTube, and I think both of us we kind of had the same, like, just no word, like words but no words.
Yeah,
that doesn't really help. But yeah. So I'll let you go, Paul, for a minute.
I think the main prevailing sentence from my reactions was, "There's no way that this game is real." Like everything they showed me is just like, I was like, they show you a thing, it's like, that looks amazing, I cannot wait to play that, and then there's no way they could beat that, and then 30 seconds later they're beating it with something else, and I was like, okay, calm down. All right, now I need to make a pile of sandwiches in my spaceship. What is going on? How is this a real thing? But no, oh man, I am so excited. Like, I've always got this kind of weird, like, history with Bethesda titles in so much as, like, I don't think I've ever finished one of their games, but I have put, like, hundreds of hours into them. Like,
right, okay.
My prevailing, like, claim to fame when it comes to Bethesda games is I once did a playthrough in Fallout 4, went about 80 hours, and I never made it to Diamond City. And if you know that game, you know how early that is. I spent so much time just wandering around and doing side quests and just souping myself up to be the hardest badass in the wastelands.
I think that's the beauty of the beauty of what Bethesda games capture. And I think speaking about sandwiches, I liked the little interaction that Matt had on because. We have a famous person here. I was on IGN. You're on the IGN Twitter page, I think, as well. And then Xbox said sandwiches, and then you replied with sandwiches on top of that as well.
Well, they asked me what my highlight was, and I was just like, sandwiches, obviously. And that was the one thing that they chose. I mean, it didn't just say that. I said other stuff too, which was really coherent and more interesting. But sandwiches, that's where it's at.
I don't think there's anything more interesting than sandwiches. I'm not going to lie.
Well, true. Yeah.
You're making me hungry now. I want a sandwich.
Well, now you can have a ship full of them.
Exactly.
For me, though, it's basically like an echo of the same sentiments. I think it was just the layering blocks, and a lot of people I've had like a mixed reaction. I say I'd probably like an 80-20% reaction to the YouTube video that I put out, and it was more along the lines of either people are really excited for the overall systems of the game, which is what I'm very excited for. Like, there's not just one system or one gimmick. That there's the space building a spaceship. There's settle building. There's flying in space with the spaceship to find settlements. Just layers upon layers upon layers. Now, the main thing that I'm skeptical about is the thousands of planets, like 1,000 planets, right? Because I believe just before we started recording, there was like an interview with Todd Howard, and I think he said 10% of the planets are going to have life and stuff on them, which even 10% is 100 planets, right? Which I know a lot of people, and I think there's a lot of what's the word? Like there's a lot of potential for Starfield because of what we've seen with Fallout, with Skyrim, which is what excites me more as like a game of the generation type deal, because it's not just, Bethesda's going to give us 150 hours, 200 hours worth of game here. Probably the story will be like 40 to 50 hours, if that. But then there's all the side content and stuff. But I'm most excited for modders to get their hands on this, because a modder could go and find planet 541 and make their own city with tools in the game, or with the modding tools that Bethesda allows them to do, and add and not even interact with any of the other stuff that we've had previously in those games. But like as I say, the main summarization is I have words but also no words, because I was just sat there like hands on my head, because there's just so many good systems. But seeing as Matt's back and he's joined us again,
hello.
What's your main, like, I know you put out a really funny TikTok about spaceships and stuff, but also
spaceships.
What do you think about Starfield? What is it that is the most appealing aspect?
I mean, for me, it finally we have a game that we can explore, and yes, it's got that combat element. So it's an RPG, which you can do it first person, or they said that you could also do it third person if you liked. Which great. That's fantastic. Yeah, there was the skeptical side of me that was like, oh, is this going to be another No Man's Sky where they promise so much and they suddenly say, oh, actually, no, we didn't say that. But it honestly looks actually amazing. Finally, we have a game where I actually want to go and visit those places in real life. Like the past Fallout games or Skyrim and things like that. Yeah, it'd be cool to I don't know, it might be cool to be there. I wouldn't want to go to the Fallout universe in real life, but Starfield actually, I want to go to that planet. What was it called? The home, Atlantis, the home of Constellation. Like that looked like somewhere that I would want to visit and go and hang out in. It's shiny, it's new, it's not war-torn and rotting away, which I think...
Or super fantasy, super elven fantasy type deal, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. It's actually got a realistic element to it. And I think they mentioned Mars as an actual planet. So I know this is a different universe for Starfield. For Bethesda. So it seems like the Starfield universe might be set in our universe. So you might be able to visit Earth, or maybe Earth is one of the planets that you start on. It looks like there's going to be a take on different themes. So it looks like there's like a Western sort of themed world, sexy space robot themed world as well.
Like cyberpunk type thing.
Exactly.
Maybe a sexy space robot.
Sexy space robot.
Was it the planet on? Was it the Mars planet or whatever the name? The mining planet, and it had the hours between incident or days between incident. I thought that was pretty cool, and I know there's people that are going to go and do something and see if that changes, and if it's stuff. Yeah, exactly. It's stuff like that.
It's like you say, about the 1,000 planets as well. Okay, so 10% we know are going to have life on them. How many others are we going to be able to explore, or are there going to be lots of other gas giants where you fly too close and your spaceship just implodes?
There's a lot of possibilities, right?
I think from what they've said that there's going to be the 10% that are inhabited, so there'll be mission-based stuff there, raiders to fight and things like that. The majority of them you'll either be able to you'll be able to still land on them and get resources from them. And I think a lot of it is procedurally generated. Not so much in the way No Man's Sky is, where it's procedurally generated and everyone can see that. So it's like your own personal worlds that you'll see. I think that's going to be interesting as well. I think having those conversations with other players, where you're like, well, I landed on this planet and I saw this weird animal, and then these raiders came in and we started fighting and the animal attacked them and all that kind of stuff. And someone might have a completely different scenario.
Yeah.
You mean that they had.
I was talking to a friend about the whole procedure generation type thing. It's I think what they'll probably do is completely, I'm not a dev here, but they've probably made a bunch of assets that they can just throw into the randomly generated machine, and then if you land on one of those planets specifically, let's plop this specific element in this area, like a little mining station or whatnot. And I definitely feel like the thing with No Man's Sky, obviously they're going to get compared, but I think the thing with No Man's Sky was a lot of promises at the time and not a lot of showing. Starfield has made those promises, and at least I'd say about 70% of those promises they've shown to us. And the only asterisks will just be those planets, because I feel like everything else besides the technical issues, like being buggy, that's the only worry I have when it comes to the anything to do with it. Is it going to run regardless of what frames you run it on? Will it be stable? Will it have game breaking bugs? And will it work? That's my main three things that I just want it to do. If it does that, then we've got another game of the year contender, for sure.
I think,
yeah.
You said at the beginning, talking about Starfield, is it's not such a game of the year, but this could genuinely be, if they manage to nail the landing on this could be a game of the generation talk.
Definitely.
I think I was very much the thinking Zelda's going to be the game of the year. Then I saw the reviews for Final Fantasy 16 that's just dropped. That could have been game of the year. But I genuinely think if they can get the world building that Bethesda are so well known for, in an environment that I love more than anything, like space, like combat, RPGs, those kind of stuff. Like, I love space as a medium. Like, Mass Effect is one of my favorite games. So, like, if they can nail everything that they're talking about, or even 90% of it, like, I genuinely think they've got a game of the generation on their hands. And I'm so excited to see what comes in the next few months. Hopefully we'll see more of the planets. The combat, we've not even really talked about the combat. Like, Bethesda.
Everybody was jetpack fighting.
Yeah, like a whole hour of just talking about the game as well.
Bethesda have not been known for their combat. Like, the combat systems in like Fallout have been, and Skyrim have been fine, but they've never been like the biggest standout point for me.
In the trailer, it looked slick. It looked okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't have too
like
many
a Bethesda
complaints.
game.
No, it definitely didn't.
I'm not expecting like a top tier level gunplay, but it actually looked like, I was like, okay, that actually looks a lot something that I would definitely play, like a lot better for sure.
I mean, I'm just gonna get a jetpack and start jetting around everywhere and shooting people.
I'm gonna say you're gonna be the guy that flies around just dropping bombs on people.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Or
and stealing your sandwiches.
Or sandwiches, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
You said I feel like one thing that we can say is, like, you said you wanted to briefly touch on Ubisoft and Capcom. Like, my quickie thoughts on both of those is, why did Capcom have a showcase, first and foremost? There was no point. Like, they showed off the same trailers that had been shown off of anything else. No Dino Crisis, so not happy. No dice. And then with Ubisoft, they had the Avatar that we spoke about, and then Star Wars Outlaws, another good look. We haven't talked even Assassin's Creed as well. We could we could talk for like another 20 minutes about like the Ubisoft showcase as well. And then they obviously had Just Dance, which is always the Ubisoft thing. Yeah. But outside of those, what was the last game that they showed off at the showcase?
I'm gonna have to look.
No, it was Outlaws. I think was the last thing that they showed off.
Yeah.
And then they finished it.
Yeah.
Once again, like no Beyond Good and Evil. Yeah. Like, that's still just in the wind.
That game is a new Duke Nukem Forever. I'm just putting it out there. That game is never coming out, and when it does, it's going to be bad.
Yes.
My thoughts on that one. So Capcom, like, again, agree with you. That could have been an email.
I mean, you talked about it, Matty, with Avatar as well. Did you watch any of the other aspects of the Ubisoft showcase? At least, obviously, Star Wars and Avatar we've already spoken about. Was there anything else that intrigued you?
I mean, Assassin's Creed obviously is always going to pique an interest, right? So question, like, has there ever been a bad Assassin's Creed game? Like, as in, like, really bad, completely unplayable.
Well, Unity.
Yeah.
Well,
do you remember the teeth and the eyeballs? That meme that was like, I think it was like 2014.
Yeah.
I think
they got there in the end, but at launch and for a short while after, that game was #bad.
I think they've just kind of been like decent. Yeah. They've never, like, there isn't, apart from maybe Origins, a lot of fans that I know talk about. I mean, Black Flag was the main. Everyone loved that one.
Yes.
I absolutely adore Odyssey. I think it's like up there as like one of the best Assassin's Creed games. So much I put like, I think 180 hours into that game. Like, it's so good.
I mean, for me, Odyssey, I just felt was too much, too big. I completely lost the storyline.
Which is why Mirage is why I'm excited again, because it goes back to AC1 and AC2, which was like taking the world, condensing it down, making it about the assassinations and stuff. Because I felt like they went from after Syndicate, they went into like because at the time, The Witcher was the big thing back then, like Witcher 3.
Yeah.
So they tried to emulate that, and also I think Dark Souls was also a thing. So they tried to go with more of the third-person combat route.
Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla, those three games together, they are good games, but
they're great games.
They just, I don't know, they're not true Assassin's Creed games.
Yeah, they kind of, I'd agree.
So I'm excited for Mirage and the different abilities that you have. There was like a ability that you could snapshot your way around the different enemies, like skill chaining.
Yes.
Obviously pole vaulting, that kind of stuff. And it looked like I can blend in. Because I know in Valhalla there was an aspect you could pass time. There was never really any reason for it. The fact that you could just sit there and make the sun disappear. Whereas in this game. The new game actually looks like that's going to really help with your assassinations. Mm-hmm. I know there was one of the DLCs for Valhalla was fantastic because you had to set up the assassination a little bit like the original Assassin's Creed games. You couldn't just you could delve in there and knock everybody out and get your sword out, or you could sneak around. It was completely up to you. This game looks like you have to put some thought into what you're going to do, and you can't just fly your eagle around and see where everyone is first, because there might be someone that wants to shoot your bird out of the sky. It's a good aspect.
I feel like they've done the best of both worlds with Mirage, and the Saturday is like everything everyone loved about the original Assassin's Creed, the technology and denseness and population that they can put into a game now in modern generations. I think, I'm very excited for Mirage. We're talking about the wider, like the Ubisoft conference. I think everything game-wise they showed was interesting. Again, we got another look at the new Prince of Persia. X Defiant, which I'm very excited for. I know there's as of recording right now, there is a open beta going on. I got access to the closed beta a while back, which was a ton of fun. Not sure it's a COD killer like a lot of people are saying, but I think it's going to be... It's definitely going to take some of that market share. The Avatar game looks interesting, very much Far Cry. My big problem with the Ubisoft conference, and it was a big problem, was the presentation.
Yeah, it was. That as a whole. Mm-hmm. I mean, I was just going to go off on that point. That, like, I'd say 4 out of the 5 presentations that we saw, they were very like the Xbox one nailed it because it was when they needed to have 2 people, which was Sarah Bond and also Phil Spencer. Phil came on at the end to announce Starfield, and then Sarah Bond was like right after South of Midnight and also Fable as well. I don't know if she came on after Revolution. No. But either way, it was just kind of like, it was just speed, like get through it and not a lot of dead air, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I think, but the Ubisoft one just felt like I felt like I was in a board meeting and I was seeing the yearly projections. And I hated the fact that they would pull away from the gameplay that they were there to show to give me a close-up on the developer. And I've got nothing wrong with giving developers their time to show off their games, but there are ways to do it, and that was not it.
Yeah, I would agree.
I love the gameplay, hated the presentation. Capcom was less said the better. All in all, like, how did you feel about the entire period, like the last few weeks of showcases and things like that, and comparing it to like an E3 in previous years and things like that? How do you feel like it went for you guys?
It's exciting. It's been good to watch it all, and I think having like a month where everything comes out and you've got that time to think about it and watch it, rather than it all being at one single event, is probably a lot easier for content creators to space things out a bit. And react to, but also it's nice for the casual player as well to get involved and see what's going on, because they're all on at different times, so you might catch some stuff for the Xbox, whereas or go to PlayStation and a couple of days later, whereas when it's at E3 you really got to choose because they could all be happening at once.
Better not do anything that weekend because you're getting all of the news. Well, I'll start with you first, Jim. But what do you think?
I don't know, because I'm always torn, because for me, growing up, E3 was the game of Christmas. So this is the time of year. It's like that week in the year where you get to see what's coming out in the fall, get excited for whatever else is in the future. And I think I kind of rated each of them as they went. By far, the Xbox showcase was fantastic. The PlayStation showcase were dragged. The Summer Games Fest for me was even though I'm not the hugest of Final Fantasy fans, the debate at the end, which was like, Jeff Keighley was like hyping this thing up, and I was like, is it something new? I was like, oh, it's Final Fantasy. Okay, it was like kind of like, but it would be like it was still solid. And then obviously there was just some other stuff that shone off, but it's just I don't know. I love the time of year because there's always new games that would be announced, but it just there's that certain magic that like Comic-Con has that is kind of lost a little bit with E3 not being around because it was such a big part of growing up, but it still is that same. There's still going to be games announced and stuff. The main thing that I'll talk about in just a minute is just that how everything stacks upon one another when we go into the later months, which I suppose is like it's the exciting part because there's loads of new games coming out, but then there's also there's too many games, so I can't play them all, and that's not fair. But yeah,
I think
overall it was solid, but loses the magic a tiny little bit, I suppose, as what I'd want to see from E3.
I think just going back on that previous point, I think like as a gamer, like this time is like super exciting. As a creator, this time is super stressful. There's a lot to create. You have to pick and choose. I mean, just to wrap up, I think like for me, I'm very 50-50 on this whole thing. Like I love like these online announcements, being able to like having it more spread out so I can like you say, consume it a bit more rather than having to rush through everything and really take your time to enjoy it and, like say, create content around it. But there's something special about E3. It is one of those things that's like there was nothing quite like it growing up being like a gamer and just like being excited for that, like that one weekend where everyone came together to celebrate video games and show off all the new concepts. And just as a fan personally, as like a fan of indie titles, I think there's something definitely missing not having like a physical E3, because there's a lot of times where the next big indie title is discovered in the back rooms of an E3 conference.
Yeah.
These indie developers don't really get that access anymore. I know there's things like the Idea Xbox. There's a lot of indie studios that are coming up massively, like people like Devolver and Annapurna, who are doing a lot of great work around those indie titles. But I still think like there's definitely something missing not having that ready access to studios like they used to have with E3.
I think the thing that Jeff's running is the games like games of play, or basically where a bunch of it's after the Summer Games Fest, and then like they have a bunch of the games that are shown off. I think it's just mainly for press and creators though. Yeah. I do agree that I suppose in one way we don't get to see them shown off because they're in the back rooms of E3. But they could also be discovered as well, and also having hands-on. But then also the online showcases gives them that platform as well. So it's a 50-50 sometimes, and maybe I'm just holding on to nostalgia. That's the main thing.
I think that's us for this one. Thank you for watching, everyone. If you want to find us, you can find me everywhere at Paul Despawn. Jimbo, where can everyone find you?
At It's Jimbo on Twitter, and then It's Jimbo on YouTube.
And Manny, what about yourself?
At Pratty Matty, pretty much everywhere, apart from YouTube, where someone else is my name, which actually was me when I was 13, but I don't have access to that. So it's Pratty Matty GG on YouTube.
Guys, thank you for watching. Until next time, go play some video games.